Hey guys, this is Miss Mo. This is 1.2, and it's basically adding numbers. And when you do this section, if you want to use a calculator, you'll probably get a 100. But you will also probably fail your test, because your test, you will not be allowed to have a calculator. Once we get past the point of just basic adding and subtracting and stuff like that, then you can use a calculator. But for this first test, you cannot use the calculator. So I know you can add these with a calculator real quickly, but if you do that on your homework, you're probably going to fail the test. Just saying. So let's do this by hand, and it will actually help you in your future math classes. Okay. First, let's talk about without regrouping. Without regrouping means you don't have to carry a number, like if you go over 10, you add a number or something like that. Yeah, that's what with regrouping means. If you have to carry a number, we are without first, so there should be no carrying of a number. Okay, so let's just add. We start on the right. So 1 plus 3 up and down is 4. 1 plus 1, 2, 3. That makes 4. Okay. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2. That makes 5. Hey, 54. Yay. So in your calculator, you could check yourself. 31 plus 23. And it should be 54. Let's look again over here. 36 plus 42. We start with the right. 6 plus 2 is, use your fingers if you have to, ocho, but you cannot use a calculator. 3 plus 4 is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. So 78. Next sucker. 51 plus 31. Remember, start on the right. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then underneath, 5 plus 3 is 8. And again, I know you can do these in your calculator, but try and do them in your head or on paper like this, because on your first test, you do not get to use a calculator. Okay, let's try the regrouping. First, we start on the right. 4 plus 8. So here's 8. Plus another 4 is 11, 12. I think 12. Yep. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down the 2, but the 1 from the 12 gets written on top of the next up and down set of numbers. So 8 plus 6. 8 plus 6 is not 12. 8 plus 6 is 14. Golly. What was I doing? I think I was doing this one, 4 plus 8. Okay, anyway, 8 plus 6 is 14, because here's 8, and then 6 means 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14. Yeah, okay. So you write down the 4, but then the 1 goes on top of the next column, and then you add all 3 of those numbers. So 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 4 is 13. And if I had another column of numbers, I would write down the 3 and then put a 1 on the next column. But I don't have another set of numbers, so I'm just going to write 13. So it should be 134. Oh, I don't even think I finished this problem. Let me go back to this first problem. That's what happened. I skipped it. Okay. Let's add these. 4 plus 8, that's the 12. Okay, so you write down the 2, but then the 1 that represents the 10 goes on top of the next column. So 4 plus 8 is 12. But I only put the 12 down, and then the 1 goes on top. Okay, now let's add up this column. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 3 is 10. And if I had another column, I would just write 0 and then I'd carry the 1 again. But there's not another column of numbers. Okay, let's look over here on the right. 46 plus 55. 6 plus 5 is 11. So the 1 on the right, I write down. The 1 on the right, you write down. The 1 on the left goes on the top. We put a little 1 right there. Okay, then let's add up this column. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10. So I'm gonna write down 0. And then if there was another column, I'd put the 1 on top. But there's not another column, so I'll just write 10. Yay! So this 1 plus 4 plus 5, that gave me 10. Okay, let's look below. Here's some more carrying. 89 plus 36. First, we start on the right. 9 plus 6, use your fingers and your toes, is 15. But again, I put the left number, I carry it. The right number, you write it down. So 9 plus 6 is 15, so I'm going to write down the 5, carry the 1. And then add down. 1 plus 8, 9, plus 3, 12. And we get 125. Let's keep going. Next sucker. You start on the right. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14. So the 4 gets written down. The 1 from the 14 gets written at the top. And then you add up and down all 3 of these numbers. 1 plus 7 plus 2. 1 plus 7. 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2. 10. Yeah. 104. And then this last one, let's scribble it out. I was a bad copy job. Okay, let's look at these big boys down here. Okay, which side should we start on? The right. Always the right. Okay, so let's check it. 9 plus 5 is 4. Write down the 4. And then teen. The teen goes up in the air. Put that 1 up in the air. Okay, now let's add up and down again. That new 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus another 6 is 14. So let's go over that again. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. So I'm going to write down the 4. And then carry the whiz on the 1. Okay, now let's add up and down. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6. Plus 7 is 13. So write down the 3, but carry the 1. And then lastly, 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 8 is 18. So write down 8. And then we would carry the 1 if there was another column of numbers. But there's not. So let me just write 18. And I think if you type a comma in your homework, it's wrong. So do not put 18, 344. Okay, this last sucker. We add up and down. 1 plus 9 is 10. So I put 0 and then carry the 1. Then 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus that 9 underneath is 12. So write down the 2, carry the 1. Okay, next. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 9 is 13. So write down the 3, carry the 1. Lastly, 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 9 is 14. So write down the 4. And then if I had another column to carry, I would write down the 1 from the 14. But there is no column, so I'm just going to write 14. Yay. Okay, let's look at this word problem. In word problems, if you see the word total, that means we're probably going to have to add some stuff up. Okay, so this says find the shortest distance between Austin and Freeport. Okay. Well, let's find Austin. Here he is. Okay, Freeport is here. Okay. We have to come up with the shortest distance, as in the shortest path. So how could we get from Austin to Freeport? Well, we could go maybe down-ish, drive down-ish, and then we could drive right-ish. Yeah. Okay. Well, if I want to find the total distance between these two, I need to add them. So 31 and 34, let's add those. Which side do you start with? Always on the right. 1 plus 4 is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so we got 65 for that one. Let's take another look. What about if I want to go from Austin to Cisco to down to Freeport? Maybe I just drove a different way. So I drove to the right, 37, and then I drove kind of downish, 30. Let's add those. And you start on the right. 7 plus 0 is 7. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, which one of these is the shortest? 65 or 67? Definitely 65. So this one's out. Let's see if there's any other ones. If I went around, let's see what happens. If I go around, as in, if I go to Baker and travel 25, then I go to Esther and I travel 27. Then I go from Esther to Freeport, where I'm supposed to wind up, and that's 40. Okay, let's add those. 5 plus 7 is 2. Carry the 1. Now add these up. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Plus 4, 9. Okay, and we're supposed to find the shortest. Well, 92 is definitely not shorter than 65, so that one's out. And then we could try other combinations like this 31, 29, and 30, but pretty sure that this 65 is the shortest distance between Austin and Freeport, because we tried a bunch of different paths and this was the lowest one because it was 65. So shortest distance means smallest. So when you're adding up all the different ways you could go places, you're going to look for the smallest number. If it says shortest, if it says longest, you're going to look for the largest number. So if this example would have said some hoopla about longest, I probably would have counted this 92 as the correct answer. I would have had to add up a couple more of these to see if 92 was for sure the longest. But longest means largest number. Okay. Oh, there's more. Okay, let's keep going. The next sucker says the distance for the shortest means small, route from city T to F. Okay, so let's see. T is here. F is here. Oh gosh, okay. And let's get there. Okay, well, I can't just go, I could go around. So let's try that. I could do this 21. And then now how much is this bottom piece? 23. So 21 plus 23. Let's see, start from the right. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so the green is 44. Let's try going this opposite way. Let's say I go through here. Oh, and that little bitty baby path is 12. Then to the A, and that path has a 14 on it. Then from that A, let's come down, and oh, there I am. I made it. I'm right there. That's another 11. And let's add them up. Start on the right. 2 plus 4 plus 1. 7. Then the left says 1 plus 1 plus, oh, that's just 3. Okay, and if you're wondering where I got those numbers from, they're along the path. Okay, let's see if there's another path I could take. I think the only other path would be I would have to come down and then go up or something like this to A and come back. But that probably is not the shortest. But we can try. Okay, so this blue, let's say we come down, and that's 21. Then we rise up to this O, and that's 13. Then we go a little farther, and that's 27. Then we come back this way, and it's 11. Yeah, okay. This is definitely not going to be smaller than this 37, but we'll go ahead and do it. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 7 is 11, plus 1 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1, 4, plus 2, 6, plus 1, 7. Yeah, that's not the shortest. So the shortest route is 37. Woohoo! Okay, now let's add some kind of oddly stacked numbers that aren't quite even. You have to line them up to the right. So if I would have said 169 and then 36 here and then maybe 8 here, this would be wrong. So when you're adding numbers, there has to be a number all the way over here on the right. So slide everything to the right. Smoosh it all to the right. Okay, so let's add these. 9 plus 6 is 15. Plus 8 is 23. So write a 3 down and carry the 2. Then we're going to add this column. 2 plus 6 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. So write down the 1 from the 11 and then write down the 1 from the left of the 11. Okay, and then we add down again and we get 2. So 213. Woo. Okay, let's look over here at the right. First, it's all squished over on the right, so we can go ahead and add it. If they were all jumped around with lots of spaces on left and right, then we would have to squish them all to the right. Okay, let's add them. 8 plus 2, 10. Plus 7, 17. Okay, now let's add. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus this 3, 5. Plus another 3, 8. Okay, keep going. 6 plus 4, 10, but you only write down the 0 and then you carry the 1. And then lastly, 1 plus 2, 3. So our answer is 3087 or 3087. Okay, let's look at this sucker. These are homework problems. You'll see. Okay, it says this semester there are 11,000 are enrolled in on-campus. Okay, there are some people in night classes. Those are 3, 7, 4, 9. And then there are online classes. And that's 1, 4, 8, 3. Okay, then it says, what's the total of all the students? Well, to find the total of all the students, I need to add this up and down. But if you look at the way I wrote it, it's all jacked up because there's this extra space over here. Darn, it all needs to be pushed to the right. So let me try this again. 11794. Then the 3749, that 9 has to be underneath the 4. Then on the next one, 1483, that 3 better be lined up. Okay, now let's add these. And remember, if you're doing this in your calculator, good for you, but on the day of the test, you're probably going to fail because on the day of the test, you cannot use a calculator. Okay, 4 plus 9 is 13. Plus 3 is 16. So I'll write down the 6, carry the 1. All right, let's keep going. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 4, 14. Plus 8, 22. So write down the 2, and then the 20 goes up top. Okay, let's add. 2 plus 7 is 9. Plus another 7 is 16. Plus 4 is 20. So put a 0 and then carry the 2. Okay, let's keep going. 2 plus 1 plus 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Plus 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. And then on the last guy, there's nothing to add up underneath that 1. So I'm just going to bring him down. So it says, find the total number of students enrolled. Here it is, 17026. Okay, let's look at this last sucker on the right. Yeah. It says, find the total distance around the lot that has been developed as a go-kart track. Okay, so this kind of confused me because I thought it wanted the distance around the go-kart track, like this funky shape. But it says, find the total distance around the lot. So the lot means like a square or a rectangle that you purchased. Like this is the land that the go-kart was developed on. Okay, and we want to know what's the total distance around the land. So let's add up all these numbers. 325, 140, 325, 140. Okay, 5 plus 5 and a couple of zeros, that makes 10. So I'm going to write down 0 and carry the 1. Then let's add again. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 4 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. Plus 4 is 13. You can go slower if you need to on your own. Okay, then lastly, 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 1, 5. Plus 3, 8. Plus 1, 9. All right, and it says, find the total distance, 930, and it's just feet. Yay!